Hey everybody, it's Dave with davespassage.com and coming to you with Winter Camp 2013 numero dos. I'm out here with my friend Russ from outside Michigan, and we're just coming in the trail on the tail of 2013 Snowmageddon. I guess the Midwest has sort of gotten pounded with really bad snow and ice and all that good stuff. So we thought, why not go hammock camping? So we're out here on the North Country Trail, and it's absolutely gorgeous out here. You could hear a pin drop, you can hear whatever scurry. Not quite sure about Firewood yet, just because it's kind of been a wet kind of existence out here lately. We're going to try to hike into camp and gather as much firewood as we can. We got out of here a little bit later than what we normally would, so I won't do a whole lot of video tonight, but we'll just try to get into camp and see where things go from there. I will say again, it is absolutely gorgeous out here. It's very quiet, very serene. It's probably about, mid-20s, maybe around 30. It's only supposed to get down to about 25 tonight. Winds probably 10, something like that. Not too bad. So I'm not worried about too much wind chill. What I'm kind of worried about, and I'm not really worried about it, but just one of the things that I've got in the back of my mind here is it's very foggy. It's right around, like I said, it's right around 30 degrees, so it's a little foggy. Even though the winds are calm, that fog can kind of condense and cause you to get cold. So we'll see how it works, but stick around. So right now we just got into camp, and we just set our packs down. Now it's time to collect firewood. I know a lot of you guys that, if you watch my channel, you probably already do some of this sort of thing. But for those of you that maybe you've never been winter camping or camping in general, especially in the wintertime, the first thing you do is, at least for us, is you get firewood, enough that's going to last you through the night. And generally speaking, if you get enough firewood, you probably want to get at least 3 times that much, because you never know what's going to happen in the middle of the night. And basically what I'm looking for, I'm walking around in the woods here, and I'm trying to find stuff that's dead and standing. And I'll give you an idea of something that may qualify here. I could see on this tree, if you could see this or not, when I look at this tree here, I could see that the bark is separated from the inner part of the tree. Now that could very well be, filled with water, but from where I'm standing, at least my vantage point, that looks to be dead. This side does not look to be dead. I do not want to cut down something that's living and standing. This side looks dead. That looks like it'd be safe to cut down. Another thing I look for too, is I look for trees, that do have, maybe they're a little bit punky. Like this is sort of what they call powder wood. It's going to burn fast and quick, but it's also going to burn real hot. That stuff's always good. Another thing I look for sometimes is some of this is, kind of a punky wood. It's a dry or powder wood. If you could see that sort of the powder that comes off, that's what they call it, powder wood. If that's dry, that's going to burn hot and fast. Keyword being hot is going to help get some of our other stuff going pretty good. Even behind it, here, I can see that this wood is not, it's not powdery, and it looks pretty solid, and it's dead and dry. So I'm going to take this buck saw and start to chop some of this stuff up and get enough for a fire. And hopefully, again, once you think you got enough, get about 3 times more than that, just so you're on the safe side. One thing you'll notice too sometimes with these ones, if you find a log that's kind of punky on the outside, as long as it's dry, I know this got a little bit of snow on it, but for the most part this log's dry. What you'll notice is if it's one that's not fallen too long ago, It might be kind of rotten and punky on the outside or powdery on the outside, but on the inside it can be still really hard. And that makes for really, I really like these kind of logs because then when I light them, the outside burns up pretty quick and it's got a good ember on the inside that lasts quite a while. Well, as you can kind of see, I'm in my hammock, and it's been a really peaceful night. I haven't heard a lot of anything in the woods. Russ is over there doing something with some wood. Got a decent fire going, but you know, with our gear, we don't really need a fire at nighttime. It's more for cooking. Had a couple steaks. That was really good for dinner with some onions, and now I'm getting ready to go to bed. Just talking to my camera. Oh. Gonna do a little Bible reading and then hit the sack and hopefully enjoy the rest of the night. Anyways, it's been a good night, real relaxing, peaceful night out in the woods, and looking forward to a good night's sleep. Well, here we are. The next morning, got a pot of water going in my new Stanley cook pot for some oatmeal, and then just some coffee over here by the fire. I made another video where I tested this cook kit against my alcohol stove, and it epically failed in my opinion. But again, the alcohol stove is sort of a backup to what this would provide. So there she is, getting ready for some breakfast. There's Russ. Morning. There's his shelter, similar to what you did last time, wasn't it? It was the last time you were all plastic, right?
Yeah, last time it was almost all clear plastic.
And here's my hammock setup. I did keep this end up this time because we weren't expecting any wind, and so that way I could see the fire. That worked out pretty well. One of the things that for me is an absolute staple whenever I go winter camping, any kind of camping, any time of year. I'm one of those people that's got to have a morning cup of coffee, and one of the neat things they sell on the market these days is this stuff. These Nestle Taster's Choice. They have them in a beige or a golden brown package like that, in hazelnut, and a little packet like that. And for me, it usually takes about 2 of those in my Alpine cup here. I get that nice and hot. You can see the steam rolling off that maybe. Takes about 2 of these in my Alpine cup to get me going in the morning. You just take them and you dump them in, stir them up a bit, and they are ready to go. And out of those 2, I'd say the hazelnut's my favorite. But here's to your morning cup of coffee. Camp staple number 2, if I can figure out where I put it. I got my Stanley pot boiling with water. There it is. Oatmeal. Normally what I do, when I'm on the trail for longer days, or if I'm on an extended, like if I'm on a week-long trip or a multi-day trip, what I actually do is I take this out of the package, put it in a freezer bag with one of the like a protein bar and a couple of those things of coffee. Then I squeeze all the air out of it. That way, because this has a little bit of air in it, takes up a little bit more pack space. That way, it takes up a little less pack space when I do it that way. Plus, if you use a freezer bag, what you can do is just pour boiling water. Leave this in the freezer bag and just pour the boiling water into the freezer bag and actually eat right out of the freezer bag. But I'm not gonna do that this morning, and we're just on an overnighter. So, got this boiling. You see the steam on that? This is strawberries and cream. Yummy. I'm gonna make me some of this up and finish off my breakfast. So I've already discovered something about this cook pot that I really like, and I kind of had an inkling of this when I saw it in the store. But I'm in a situation now where you know, I brought 2 liters of water just about, and I used 1 liter between last night and this morning for breakfast. I want to clean my cook pot out, but I don't want to use my other liter of water because I might want it for lunch, or if something happens I want to have some water to drink. What I really like about this though, and you can see a little bit of it on there, is it's got a nice big area that I could scoop snow up in and melt. Now I can melt it for water, or I can, in this case, what I'm melting it for is to have a nice water. I can clean my pot out without having to rely on water. And what I'm going to do is sort of look down at the snow and find a spot that's nice and clean. Remember, don't eat yellow snow, right? And just sort of scoop it up in there, and until I can fill that thing up with snow, I'll go back and melt it and use that to clean my pot out with. I may actually melt some more to replenish some of the water that I used up this morning. But another benefit of winter camping, I mean, that water is, or that snow is sterile. It's fresh, and I could drink it now. That'll probably boil down to, I mean, not even a cup, maybe a cup of water, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so I did melt some water, and actually, without even packing the snow in here a whole lot, it gave me right about 8 ounces of water. So I know if I pack the snow, I can get more. The thing with packing snow though, when you're in a camp situation, you get what you call camp hands, and just that nasty griminess, and then you get all that nasty griminess in your water. Now if it was just cleaning water like this is, it's not such a big deal, but like if I wanted to use that water to drink, probably wouldn't want to do that. You could tamp it down with something else. I could use the lid of the pot actually to sort of press it down, but just loosely packing this pot up gave me about 8 ounces of water, and I'm just gonna sort of swish around, get all the oatmeal residue off of there. Maybe replenish some of my other water in a little bit. Looks pretty clean. And there comes the reason for winter camping. Is that beautiful sunrise glistening on the snow. Peace and quiet. Little gunshots in the background, but we're not too far from a gun range, so that's to be expected on a Saturday morning. Beautiful stuff. We're going to take some time here in a bit. We're going to pack up and go do some exploring down by the river.
So I took a box of sparklers and stuck them into a charcoal.
Well, we finally broke camp and finished up breakfast, cleaned everything up, took care of all of our junk, and now we're going to do a little bit of scouting here. Russ wants to scout some area around here for possible deer hunting this next coming deer season, and I'm just out to enjoy the outside. So he also brought some means to hunt some squirrel. If we see some squirrel, we can get some squirrel, but really at this point I'm just out here enjoying the outside. It's been a beautiful camp. Weather's been great. Sun's been peeking out here and there, which is awesome. Love it when the sun comes out. And just out here enjoying the hills of southern Michigan and a little bit of nature. We're going to go explore some of the river that's nearby here. Kind of on the top of a bluff. And in between this valley, or I guess in between this hill here and the next hill down there is a little creek that leads up to a lake over there. It's so backwoods, I don't even name the lake. It's like lake number 5 or 8 or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow this hill down to this creek that's down there, which bleeds and leads out to this river. You can see that river down there. We're going to go down there and check it out, look for some potential bedding areas for deer, see what we can't come up with. got a meal out of that?
Yeah, you got a meal out of it. At first I saw these bigger tracks that looked like they might be coyote, but there's only just the two there. At first I saw that, I thought, oh, he was eating and he got eaten, but now I think that's just where those tracks melted back a little bit.
You see some nutshells there?
Yep, dug it up right there. Right there.
Oh yeah, dug it up there. It looks like Mr. Squirrel had some din-din.
Yeah, he's over here too.
I'll tell you one thing I've really come to appreciate when I'm trudging around an area like this where, you know, there's creeks and stuff like that. Knowing this area, a lot of this water comes from a lake, but it also comes from a lot of these, just sort of these springs that are around in the area. And with the snow the way it's been, it just covers all that stuff up. I remember coming out here one time in spring and just sinking in like 2 feet of mud. And so one of the things I really appreciate when I'm coming out here are these guys, just the hiking poles, because I can jab them in the ground and sort of feel around the ground to make sure that it's solid before I step in it. Otherwise, what can happen is, you know, there's running water underneath it, and then, in fact, it preserves the mud, and then you get your boots wet if you sink in there, and that's bad news in the wintertime. Just an absolutely gorgeous day to be out walking around. Seen a lot of rabbit prints, seen a lot of raccoon tracks, rabbit tracks, and some other track. I'm not sure quite what it is, but Russ is kind of investigating it a bit. Here's a better look at one of them things I was telling you about, those trickle springs. This is sort of just an underground water. Just kind of seeps up out of the ground and then flows into the creek nearby. Now if I were to step in that, obviously it's all mud right there. But even over here, you know, knowing how that's flowing, where that's going to be flowing to, this whole area is going to be pretty wet. It might be hard to get in and out of there. I can see some tracks on the other side where an animal must have come in and tried to get a drink of water, it looks like. But kind of look like coon tracks, I think. But anyways, that's what I was talking about. So I'm sure if I step over there, that snow is just covering what this is, and so I don't want to step in that. So I'm going to try to find another way around this to get to the river. All right, made it down here. This is the St. Joe of the Maumee River. Not a very big river right here, and actually it's one of two rivers by the same name that start in our county here. This is the St. Joe of the Maumee. This flows into the Maumee River, and they both start ironically almost the same location, but one flows one way, one flows the other way. This flows into the Maumee River, which empties into Lake Erie via Toledo, and if I followed this all the way up to the lake it originated, on the other end of that lake is just the St. Joe River, or the St. Joseph River, which flows into Lake Michigan from our area. So DNR has stocked this river for many years with trout. I think it's this spring, once trout opens up. I'm going to come down here with my fly rod and give it a shot, but I wanted to just come down and check it out, see how deep the river was, see what the water was like, see if I could see anything moving around in there. They've planted rainbow in here before and some other things, so it's a beautiful day to be doing this too. A lot of this reed grass. I'm not sure what that is, but it's pretty cool stuff. Kind of looks like bamboo. Here's another thing we run into quite often out here back in this game area is beaver activity. And you can see they're starting to chew that down, whereas by the next one they were successful in chewing it down, and there's the rest of that one. Beavers are cute animals. At some point though, in just surfing the internet, what I discovered was the DNR is actually trying to make it more attractive for trappers to do some trapping out here, and I can't remember where I picked that up. It was some state website. I was reading a document about them wanting to do that, and it'd be a good place to do it. There's a lot of beaver activity out here too, plus muskrat and mink and all kinds of stuff. Well, I'm not a trapper. I see all their activity all over the place out here. So if you're into trapping, you might want to check it out sometime in the future. Did a little hiking around the riverbed there, as you saw, and came back up to camp to grab Russ's sled and that sort of thing, and we're ready to hike out of here. Just getting the fire to die down a bit. As you can see, there's where we hung up at last night. Did a pretty good job covering our tracks, I think. I think there's a lot of reasons why I like winter camping, and I think some of the reasons just include the solitude, no bugs to deal with, the quiet, the cold, the things you hear and experience out here when you're winter camping. It's just fabulous. It's amazing, and it's just amazing being out here in the winter. So anyways, here we go, hiking back to the car, back home on this little winter camp overnighter. Hopefully we can get back out here soon. Take care.